Hey guys, I'm gonna show you how to do the Sherlock Holmes forensic challenge that I did for Gothic literature. To start, if you don't have VMware Workstation, you need it to do this. So if you're a student in the student shell here, scroll down under that section called Academics. You'll see the VMware store. So click on that, open it up. There we go, finally. Once it loads, you'll see VMware Workstation 12 here. And that's what you'll need. So you can add to your cart, check out, download it. And you should have a license key for it. Mine actually just expired, so there we go. I literally just ordered it. So you have your key there, and just plug it in to your VMware Workstation once you get it installed. And once that's ready to go to the folder/zip file that I had you guys download, the challenge folder. And you're going to use the Sherlock challenge file here, and it should be the .vmx or VMware virtual machine configuration file. You're going to right click, excuse me, and open that with VMware Workstation. And it should pop up here. If your computer isn't the best in terms of hardware specifications, you can change the amount of memory and processors allocated. It is a Windows 7 image, so you're going to probably want at least 2 gigs if you can spare it. You might be able to go as low as 1. Processors, it doesn't really matter too much. But just power it on when you're ready to go.
Nick, I see you in my league.
All right. So once you get to the login screen here, you'll see the password box. You should know it. I'll assume you tried password. So obviously it's not right. You'll get a message hint here. It says password hint. It's elementary, my dear, what? Blank. Fill in the blank, right? So Watson. It should be Watson, all lowercase.
Do you guys know if you can multi-box
And once you log in, you're greeted with this little prompt that says you'll be logged off in 60 seconds. So you'll have to figure out, and hopefully you'll figure this out, is what could be running on startup to do this. And hopefully with a little bit of Googling, you should figure out that there's something called msconfig, which handles startup tasks in Windows 7. So all I did was create a little Windows batch file that runs every time you start the computer up. So you'll see it in here. It's called run. And you can also see the location if you wanted to actually go into that file location. And you're just able to click it here, uncheck it, apply, hit OK. And you're going to have to restart. So you can just do it here manually real quick. Otherwise, the script will reboot you in a few seconds. So we'll just restart. And wait for our box to come back up.
Hey, Alex. Yeah. You want a chocolate egg? Chocolate egg. Yeah. Andrew.
And now that we're back up, let's log back in. Now that you're in, since there's nothing really on the desktop, except for Google Chrome, I would have just thought that you guys were going to immediately go to the files and the documents and stuff and start looking around, which is at least what I hoped. So in documents here, you'll see a passwords RAR file and a text document. So say you open the passwords file up and try to load it, there'll be a password protected zip. So you need to figure out the password for that. So hopefully you went directly to the text file and you're greeted with another quote. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the blank. What, right? It's another Sherlock Holmes quote. If you just literally copy paste Google that, you should realize that or find out that the last word here is truth. So that's truth, all lowercase. And then you get this text file here. So we have an email and a password, and an RC4 key, which is Baskerville's. RC4 is another cryptographic algorithm, sorry. So we don't know what we're going to use the key for yet, so let's just do the obvious here and load up to this Gmail.
There's like three conditions. Like me being all on the same computer. I want to see if it's possible. Me playing a game, right? Me having another client up.
There we go. So now we're up. We can enter the email.
And spectating my game, right? And then my OBS on.
Password, copy, paste in.
I want to see if like I can feasibly do
Let's not do that.
without any FPS issues.
Gmail. Oops, we can do it. Does it make me sync it? There we go. It doesn't do it. Okay, cool. Also, real quick, if you encounter any errors while turning on the VM and stuff, just skip past them. You might have to restart and stuff like that. It's just, you know, the nature of rebooting and stuff, or moving a VM to another machine that it wasn't created on. So, and then in the drafts here, the one thing that should stick out at you, you'll see a draft message to Watson. Find attached, my methods, Watson's another old Sherlock Holmes quote. So you have this encodes.txt file, should download it. And here's more little phrases here, little keys. So the first one is my favorite case is about the Hound of the Baskervilles. As I mentioned in class, this is base 64 encoding, should give you the hint. Also, I think most of them actually do end with equal signs. I could be completely wrong on that, but that's just off the top of my head. So let's load up the, well, that'd be another clue, sorry. So let's load up the web browser. If we go to, oh, my bad. We can do it, I'll do it in the VM to keep this, there we go. All right, so base 64, decode. We'll just paste it in, decode. Good job, Watson. Note, use the browsinglink.com link for the next part. So this next part, hopefully this didn't give you guys too much trouble if you've gotten this far already. This part was a little tricky in terms of all the different sites that encode and decode or encrypt and decrypt RC4 messages are slightly different in the variations of what like algorithm they use and method. Yeah, this is the way they work. So there's no like one really universal one I could find. So I use the browsinglink.com version of it. So if we copy this out, right? And then you should have remembered also, by the way, that the RC4 keys in here is the Baskervilles. So we'll go back to the web browser, do RC4, decode, browsinglink.com. Here we go. Paste it in. Baskervilles, decrypt. I'll leave you to rot if you can't figure the next one out. So rot also, if you just Google what rot is, it's basically the Caesar cipher. Super old algorithm there. That's everybody should know that just from history. But all it is a 13-letter shift. There's different rot shifts, but Caesar cipher is 13, which is hopefully what you should have figured out. And it's like the first one that most of these sites use is rot 13. So if we go back, sorry, to encodes here, and we get this. You also should have been hinted by the fact that there's 3 dots at the end. Most other ciphers don't have anything like that in it, so you should be able to figure out that it kind of just looked like reverse text. Here we go, sorry. We'll do rot 13. See if there we go, rot13.com. Just paste it in. There we go. Figure out the next clue in the audio file. Use a spectrogram. So you could use I'm assuming you Googled spectrogram, right? or hopefully you just spectrogram online. I'll show you the 2 ways to do it real quick. Chrome Music Lab, spectrogram. Oh, not this one, actually. It should be the first one. There we go. So, in the music section, there is an audio file. If you play it,
No, that was me. That was me. It's because I'm spectating my own game while I'm playing a game.
you should hear these like scrapings, sounds like almost in the background. So that's not of any use to you, right? So one thing you can do with audio steganography is hide text in audio files. And by using a spectrogram, you can read that. So that's what this is in this instance. So if we just loaded it up in the spectrogram, hit play, you'll see the little clue here. The last puzzle is in the picture of us. I hid something inside of it. Alternatively, as I mentioned, the other method, I installed Audacity on this computer. So if you load that up, they have a spectrogram feature in there, which is easy to use. Might be in the recent files. Yeah, there we go. That's a little hint. I never wiped that out. Anyway, audio, spectrogram. There you go. Same thing. So I said, or the hint said in the picture of us, pictures, there's a picture of Watson and Sherlock from the BBC adaptation of Sherlock. And it just looks like a normal picture. This is just, regular, visual steganography, or just steganography, I guess. And the most common kind of steganography usually is just, people hide pictures instead of other pictures and stuff. So that's what I did in this case. There's many ways you could go about figuring this out, and I wouldn't expect a non-forensics minded, student or person to really figure this one out. So if you don't get this one, that's, perfectly expected. If you load the file up in a hex editor right here, HXD, which hopefully with some Googling you could have figured that out. You can see the file headers here. So JFIF, that's basically a picture image file. If you you could scroll through the code, but at least with for me, for example, I'm going to be looking for other file headers and a lot of file headers, and a lot of the time it's just in plain text there on the right side. But you could also get the hex file headers here on the left and search that. But I'm just going to search by text string. So let's say you start searching like JPEG and stuff like that. So I know there's nothing for JPEG. GIF, it's another file or image format. Oh, there's GIF, right? So that automatically tells you, okay, there's some sort of GIF file in this picture as well, right? And then you also see RAR there. So that's a RAR file header, right? One of the easiest way to do steganography through Windows, you actually just do it through the command line. You can essentially turn one file into or put it into a RAR file, basically, and then you can combine the RAR and the JPEG and command line using a copy command line syntax. Copy the 2 files together and then the output file. So that's all I did for that. And one thing you could have just tried, you can try all these different options on open with here. And if you opened it with the WinRAR archiver, you would see the hidden GIF image. If you open it up, there you go. That's the last riddle or puzzle here. Really, Watson, you excel yourself. You've learned many common digital forensic techniques. Maybe now you'll be of some use. And that's, this Sherlock just being a dick to Watson as usual. So that's it for the challenge. Hopefully it wasn't too hard. The last one might have been a little difficult. Everything else, I think I gave, the hints pretty obvious enough. You could have figured it out just with some Google foo. So otherwise, hope you guys enjoyed the challenge, and I'll see you later.